Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fight Net Radio. My name is Lee Hannes, joined by Andrew Lapche and Miguel Antonio Barragan. We are Fight Net Radio. We come to you each and every week talking about the wonderful world of boxing. Keyword is boxing. And you can find us at all these things that I list over here at Fight Net Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of them. All of them. And don't forget, at Fight Fiend Miggs in his 26-part series on Anthony Joshua called The Comeback. Exclusive behind-the-scene interviews that Miguel did during the training camp. No outside interference. It's tremendous. Good job with it, Miguel. I saw it, and I'm very impressed with it. It'll be great for the next couple of weeks. So check him out on YouTube and Instagram. And if you get to his YouTube or Instagram and go, hey, he hasn't posted on YouTube in like, I don't know, a year. You know what? That darn Eddie Hearn keeping him. Andrew, I actually wanted to start the show with a St. Patrick's Day joke, and I didn't do it after everything. I wound up playing the intro straight, but I had created a new character named Moron O'Reilly. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fight Net Radio. My name's Moron O'Reilly. But I wanted to make him extremely racist, and I realized that I shouldn't make fun of somebody who's bipolar, Andrew. I'm growing as a human being.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good touch.
But he is a dick. I'm just saying it out loud. With that said, and by the way, he's on, and Andrew, Miguel knows this, he's on my wish list for Thursday. I want Morrow for the 10 questions so bad, I can taste it. Like I'm visualizing it. That's how I got Eddie Hearn, because Miguel literally stood there and said, you're not gonna get Eddie Hearn.
What press conference is on Thursday?
Caleb Plant.
Oh yeah. Fight Week. Plant Benavides. Yes.
We'll talk about that. It's in the news arc. Is there any get that you'd like on Thursday or Friday, Miguel?
I think Morrow will be like the top dog. I think that will be like the number one guy that we're going to have to go after. But really, other than that, no, not really.
Well, I think the number one question should be, now that they're kind of pushing the Davis and Garcia fight as the fight that's going to change boxing. They try to get some call outs from these PBC guys. Let's see if they change their tune any. If you can grab a Charlo or something. But
Charlo.
It seems like that's
Let
who
me
they're
tell you
talking
the
to.
funniest part of getting a Charlo would be me, because Miguel wouldn't do this. I can't even picture Miguel doing this. Hello, A Charlo. I'd like to ask you some questions. As a Charlo, that would only be funny.
Is Spence going to really get through another title defense? I think even if it's Keith Thurman, he's going to get criticized this time because of how they're pushing the Davis Garcia fight. Like, it's time to step up or get out of the way. Yeah, really. They're for all of these guys. So no, that's a good fight leading into this. Really, these guys stepped up. The fight was hot. I think until the Garcia and Tank fight got signed. Unfortunately, and maybe that this fight will gain momentum again here in this week leading up to it. But yeah, it got real cold after Tank and Garcia finally got announced, and then the two press conferences happened.
Yeah, there's been a byproduct from it, right? By the way, if you're looking at the video, the guy there with the sunglasses, that's Andrew, and the guy with the Fight Net Radio shirt, that's Miguel. So they're the images next to me that stay here throughout the video. Just thought I'd point that out in case anybody was confused. The interesting byproduct from it, Andrew, is that it has caused more talk about Spence and Crawford, right? You've got Espinosa sticking his head out of the ground like Punxsutawney Phil looking for his, shadow, saying, I'm going to make the fight until the day I drop dead. And no, that's not how Steven Espinosa talks, but that's how he should talk. He should talk like a man who's got a stick jammed up his ass. Oh, that's a great fight. Follow me on Twitter for more insightful boxing information. That should be our Stephen Espinosa voice. I'm starting to like it. But again, even this week, there is still more talk. I didn't put it up because it's just hiring of people talking about Crawford and Spence, Miguel. I think that by somebody crossing over the PBC aisle, and trust me, Oscar has been patting himself on the back so hard, it makes his dick itch for making the fight with Al, which I guarantee he never even talked to Al. I don't even remotely believe he talked to Al. It has caused talks.
There's a middleman. He doesn't even get to talk to the boss.
No. He's talking at a diner to like a number 2 or a number 3, like some bad mafia movie.
Yeah, and they're like back to back, sitting in like booths next to one another.
Yeah, right. Like straight out of a movie, holding up menus, going,
"Yeah,
what do you think? Will Al go for it?
I
don't know."
Takes a SIM card out of his pocket, puts it in a cell phone, calls Al, takes it back out of his.
Yeah, right.
They all got burners and shit.
Yeah. It's so great. Tell me I'm crazy, Miguel, but you are on the boards pretty frequently. It seems like the chatter on Crawford and Spence is certainly up, and I agree with Andrew. I think it's because of Tank and Ryan.
Yeah, well, they're definitely getting a lot of attention, like in regards to Tank and Ryan, because that's like the next big thing, right? So it's like as soon as that fight is over, because when is it? It's April 22nd or 29th or something like that, right?
Somewhere in April.
Around
somewhere
there,
in
like
April.
mid to late April, right? So as soon as that dies down, because the fight it'll happen, and we'll have some controversy. I'm sure somebody wins by a close decision, yada yada. And there's going to be a lot of yapping afterwards, but like might as well get the talk, because by then it'll be hot again. So I think even now they're starting to trying to steal a little bit of the spotlight from that fight, and the talking is back, amongst the fans about this potential, but yet not really fight with Spence and Crawford. So I think it's picking up. It's barely starting now. So by the time that dies down, Garcia and Tank, then the talk will be high again.
What Spence and Crawford need to understand, what they need to take away first from this fight, is 24 hours before tickets went on sale, there were complaints about ticket prices. The next day, they sold out in 5 minutes. So these guys need to put faith in the boxing world. That is one of the hottest fights in boxing. Go back to the table, get a deal done where it's a lot more on percentages for tickets, pay-per-view, whatever the final number is.
Take it to Abu Dhabi. You know what? Suck up your pride. Go to Abu Dhabi. Suck it up.
But Lee, it might not need to. It might not need to go there.
In their minds, it does. I guarantee that
Allegiant Stadium still hasn't been used as a fight. Terrence Crawford and Spence. If Garcia and Ryan do great numbers, they might look at that venue to make this fight, because both fighters are demanding so much money. It's just something they got to look at. 5 minutes, the fight sold out. That fight will repeat that. Spence and Crawford will be a sellout if they get this thing done. The ticket prices, it's all about the guaranteed money these guys are going after. If they could come down on their guaranteed purse and put a lot more faith into who they are and what the fans will buy, then we can get this fight done. I think that's the next time they negotiate. They need to come down on the guaranteed purse and look a lot more at what Tank and Garcia are doing as far as pay-per-view and as far as ticket sales.
Is that reasonable though? Like, do you think that that's realistic of them? I mean, like, considering how much Crawford got, stacked, or whatever, how many stacks he got in this BLK Prime fight that he had, like, realistically, do you think they're actually going to be, I mean, if they haven't agreed to like a number yet, I don't know. Something tells me that they're not willing to drop. I mean, even if in the long run it's going to help them, with ticket sales, etc. The fact that they're going to take a cut, so to speak, I don't think that's realistic. I mean, it'll be ideal for us, right, to make it happen, but for them, I don't know.
It's not a cut if the percentages bring in more money, and we know they will if this fight is a sellout.
Right, but the guarantee. I mean, the guarantee, I guess. That part.
I'm talking about the guarantee is what they have to come down on. Look, if they're
Yeah.
both trying to get Mayweather money and Al Heyman's the only one pushing this fight, it's what Bob Arum told us, months ago, is they need someone else funding this fight. It can't be on one person. They're demanding too much guaranteed. Because you still got to put an undercard together, you still got to put the event together. So that seemed to be Bob Arum was right on with that, with what he said. And that's the only way this thing could get done is if both of their egos come down just a tad on the guaranteed purse. So it's kind of like a IOU. Look, didn't Don King do it to put on the biggest fight between, was it Foreman and Ali that he put on with no money when he took it to Africa, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, got to put faith sometimes. This isn't that much faith. They know what the boxing world, their boxing world will still respond. Look, I'm expecting Garcia and Davis to be one of those throwback fights where all the celebrities are there, all the pro athletes are there. They're going to have a very HBO-like list of celebrities and athletes that they're going to be naming off that we haven't heard in boxing in a long time. Yeah, every once in a while there's 2 or 3 people there. This is not the HBO days where they literally would go on for a minute or so announcing all the big stars that are there. So I'm expecting them to be like that for April 22nd. Crawford and Spence, seriously, they need to sit down with Al Heyman. And if I'm Al Heyman, I'm pushing a lot more towards it's the way you guys are both going to make the money that you want, and I still can throw this event without, fucking losing his ass if it goes belly up for whatever reason. I don't think it will. I really don't. Crawford, Davis, and Garcia gave me hope. There's still somewhere bloodline in America for boxing. 5 minutes, it's sold out.
But could it be because that fight is still hot? Like, the talk hadn't died. Like, we haven't been. Well, I mean, we have a little bit, but like not as much, like, jerked around as much as Spence and Crawford. Like, can they afford to do that? I'm not saying like Spence and Crawford, because they've jerked us around such a long fucking time that we're just like, oh god, we're over it. Like, we didn't get to that point of being fed up with Garcia and Tank. So could that be the reason? Like, one of the reasons why it did sell out and why the celebrities will come out is because they were able to strike when the iron's hot, and we were still talking about Garcia and Tank at the time that they actually signed the fight. Like, are we already that fed up? Are we that over Spence and Crawford where that might not happen? Like, they might not be able to have that faith because we're kind of fed up with the back and forth already.
Yes and no. I hear what you're saying on some of the fans. I agree with you, but I think that fight is grandfathered in with some of the other celebrities and the guys that know Al Heyman, the PBC fan base, that, there's going to be a lot of people front row seats for that one. As far as a hip hop world, R&B, pro sports, they seem to they come out for Al Heyman events a lot because I believe he works both sides of the industry. He's in the music side as well as the boxing. So no, I think they're still hot enough to those first 2 rows around that whole arena will be packed with sellout tickets. They got to get it done. I do agree with you, Miguel, that this fight is on the clock. It truly is. It is past the whole. I think they can carry this on for a decade. They're already 35. No one wants to see them fight again at 45. So they're past that one. But it has, because this fight they got to strike. Well, this fight has all the lights on it. Seriously, as soon as Garcia and Davis is done. If I'm Al Heyman, I'm trying to get Crawford and them announced, so everyone's still paying attention, and that fight can move on to a summer or fall, I guess, hit.
There you go. Good job. Nice job, Andrew.
Yes,
Didn't even have that section planned. Did not. There we go. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Wow, I'm sitting very close.
Oh, that would be my drop. Are you looking at the text?
What did you send us?
My drop. If you wanted my video one, that would be the background.
Oh, that, like, what the hell is that?
That is not going to be your drop. It's going to be a picture of you here with Miguel here. Did you not see the video from last week?
No, I don't. All I see is AL and MB and then you. Yeah,
you should probably go to our Facebook page, which apparently I'm the only one who goes to, as well as millions of people. And by the way, I really appreciate the Facebook fans. I can even tell you the boxing forums that have the most active participants in commenting on stuff. You just got to give them something to talk about. Like, take one of the stories, write a quippy little comment in the top. We had one that got like two. The hashtag Fight Not Sign thing that we've started, exclusive, copywritten by FightNet Radio. Hashtag Fight Not Signed. That one ran and had like 300 comments and 1,000 likes. And we're going to talk about that particular fight coming up here in the news. But yeah, that is definitely a thing, Andrew. Definitely a thing. So there you go. What in the hell? I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at as compared to what all of you are looking at. I know I'm there. That should be good. So that's Miguel and Andrew. This is FightNet Radio. We just figured out that, or at least I did, doing some math recently. We've done about 1,000 episodes of audio and video with millions and millions of views. It's great. And certainly our little renaissance period here on Facebook. Go see us at FightNet Radio. I'm going to do a show coming up, special, with Brian Head Welch from Korn and Sonny from POD. And if you don't know, POD, for those that don't know, is the original theme song. I'll probably get a copyright blackout now. That's the original intro, which famously wound up on a movie. I don't know how that happened, Andrew. Somehow magically that wound up in a movie. But there you guys go. So I'm going to do that, and the 4 or 5, that would be 5 of us. 5 of us will pick out a new song for the next, decade and change of. I don't know if fighting it around for another decade, for God's sakes. It's not like nobody knows who we are. They definitely know who we are. The problem is they all know who I am, and that certainly affects us. But it is fight week, even though it did affect us yet again with Magna Media. And I won't make my inserted joke here about Magna Media, Andrew. I've grown up a little bit. My time here at the ashram, as I like to call it, communing amongst the, communing amongst the monks and the nuns has been very good for me. So I decided I'll go back to Vegas and, literally lose my shit. So that'll be fun. But Miguel has promised to hang out with me and lose his shit while I lose my shit. So Miguel and I will certainly go get you some interviews on Thursday. We'll record some exclusive content now that I've got the new extraordinary iPhone with all its bells and whistles, and we've got some really cool lavaliers, so we can go out and maybe do some extra content this week, and maybe even shoot FightNet Radio Live from downtown on Sunday morning, me and Miguel with Andrew. I believe I have the technology, and we have good enough Wi-Fi now, Andrew. I believe it'll work this year.
Yeah, very nice. Okay.
Well, no, it's never worked, Andrew.
No, I know. No, trust me, I just say that for radio. Very nice.
Wait. It's even funnier than that. So I'm going because I'm working, right? Like I'm speaking on Wednesday, I'm speaking on Saturday, and then I'm speaking on Monday again. And I was telling all the people who want it to be live streamed, I go, have you not seen my history with trying to live stream live events? It's horrifying. But we'll try to do.
If they analyzed my pitch and my voice, it changed when I said very nice. There's total no confidence there, Lee.
Yeah.
It's just,
you know what? They have better Wi-Fi in downtown, Andrew. This is the first time I think we've tried it in 5 years. At least that would be my guess. But Miguel and I might even do a watch along with the fight while we excessively eat meat product.
Gorge ourselves, yes.
Gorge ourselves yet again on meat products. So I don't see why we couldn't turn a camera on, turn the mics on, and sizzle up some meat and watch the fight with the rest of you. And trust me, the commentating would probably be better than Moron O'Reilly and the crew. I would imagine it's got to be Moron, right? It's a Showtime event.
Yeah, it'll be him, maybe Abner Mares, and they usually have like the third party kind of switches, but it's Al Bernstein. So that, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be the trio, the guys that are like most experienced. Every so often they'll swap out like some other people, but for the most part, it'll be those three, I think.
God, I would love Al Bernstein to be high like he was at that Triller event.
Oh, geez.
That's
Never-
the
never
best.
again.
That's the best Al Bernstein ever. Has anybody else noticed the Triller just went away like a bad fart in a room? Like somebody hotboxed and opened the
Mhm.
door, and Triller just
Yep.
disappeared.
Very, very silently too. They're just kind of like no.
It was
nobody's
it
heard
was
from
a
them.
silent but deadly fart, right? That
Yes.
upset the whole industry. Everybody
They
went
either-
ooh and left the room. Wow, you got Metallica. Wow, you got Jason Aldean. Where did you go?
You got
They either got really lucky and Metallica paid for all of their court fees and they just went away breaking even, I'm guessing, or I think wasn't it Roy Jones, Andy Vander Holyfield both hadn't gotten paid for their
Metallica's expensive. I mean, Jason Aldean's probably not as expensive, but Jason Aldean plays stadium. But Metallica, to
But I
get
think those
Metallica to
views were
play,
good.
oh yeah,
I think Metallica's views. I thought we had seen that they had done good views, so hopefully that pay-per-view paid for the ones that busted on them. So, yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
More importantly, Andrew, the Counting Crows are on tour again this summer. What a shocker! Just thought I'd say it out loud. For those of you who don't know my history with the Counting Crows, Andrew, I see at least a 5-city run for me late summer.
Yes, you do.
Yes. Well, I've been. Before we get into it, yes, I'm stalling because we only have like 9 stories. I'm into these people who make vans into campers and then go on the road. I'm into this. I don't think I actually want to do it, but in my mind, I want to do it. Does that make sense?
What's that movie of Goldie Hawn where she's a groupie? She's all chasing all the.
Oh, no. Well, no, that's actually the story behind Almost Famous too. But yeah.
We're getting there, Lee. We're getting there. Our daughters
Andrew knows when I'm in the Bay Area. He doesn't even have to ask. Oh, are you up here to see me? No, there's a Counting Crow show in Berkeley. I'm not up here to see you. What are you talking about?
Nobody ever sees me.
I'm single again, Andrew, and I'm ready to mingle at a Counting Crow show with those desperate girlfriends. By the way, if you're wondering, best place on the planet if you want to meet women. The ratio is like 9-1.
Well,
Holy
women with like tattoos on their titties and like Nicorette patches.
Yes, and wearing hemp. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
there you go. And
100%.
I got this from the Counting Crows tour '99. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, the one that's normally in the background, which is in storage, maybe I'll get it up here. I think those tickets are 2000. The ones that, if you've never seen it in the old background, I think the first one that I did was a 4 or 5 city run, and that was 2005 probably 2006. But yeah, I've been doing it for too long, Andrew. It's kind of pathetic at this point. So there you guys go. You're all caught up. Let's jump into the news. That's what we talk about here. And any attempt that I can make at making fun of the boxing scene writers now that Chat AI GBT writes better than they do consistently. I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to take their headlines and I'm not going to Chat GBT them. Although if I do need translation, Chat GBT has become a valuable member of the reporting team here. Again, go check out the video from last week. I had nice drop-ins with pictures. It was like a real news thing, actually. It looked really cool. All right, let's get knuckle deep. Remember when you could be knuckle deep, Andrew? The old days before kids? Just thought I'd say it out loud.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to leave it alone. Anyways, moving on.
Good answer.
Please fucking with me.
It wouldn't be a Fight Net Radio without it. I wonder, and this is no knock, the boxing show, which is now Shot at the Win or whatever they do. What do you guys talk about for 5 straight days? Like, I used to occasionally listen when they had their full podcast, and it just sounded like monkeys screaming. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It just sounded like a cage of wild animals trying to scream over each other, and somehow they wound up at the Win. Now, you guys do it for 5 straight days? What the hell are you talking about? I mean, like, there isn't that much content in boxing. There just isn't. Just thought I'd say it out loud. And probably me being bitter before I go to Vegas. Maybe I'll drop in on those guys. They'd like that, Miguel.
Yeah, we show up like DX on Nitro in a fucking tank.
Yeah,
Hey,
no.
what's up,
We'll show up in a tank and roll up to the wind. We'll do it just like old school WCW versus WWF style. And go, does anybody listen to this show? No. Does everybody listen to Fight Net Radio?
I almost feel like the final press conference on Wednesday needs to be a little dramatic for this to get back on the radar. They've lost their way. It started out good when they did their little tour. It seemed like it was getting a lot of pull on social media, but unless it hits the boards tomorrow, is their grand arrival tomorrow or is it on Tuesday? When do you guys know?
It's normally Tuesday. It's normally Tuesday.
Normally Tuesday. Okay. But Caleb Plant trains out there, like he has a training place out there.
Yeah, it's I think City Boxing, if I'm not mistaken, because they got like a big old banner out there, and I've been to that gym several times. It's pretty dope. But I want to say they have like it was when he recently won his IBF title that they had like a humongous banner out there. It's like right behind the Fashion Show Mall. It's a pretty sweet gym. It's just kind of like on industrial road. But if I'm not mistaken, that
means it's by the strip clubs. It seems perfect to me.
Oh yes, there's plenty of strip clubs on that street. Yep.
Caleb Plant seen here fighting with the toughest opponent he's ever had. Nobody. I wish you guys could see the photos when I make jokes like that. I would assume Andrew would go back and watch the video and then have like a moment where he looks at the photos and I make a Saturday Night Live type joke about the photo, or like a late night talk show host. If you're wondering why I do that, that's what it's based on. And Andrew doesn't rewatch it. He re-listens, which is even worse. Yes. Caleb Plant has said, this is the best Caleb Plant anyone will ever see. I don't actually want to read the quotes because I just want to break down. I almost want ChatGPT to explain to me how Caleb Plant can actually say with a straight face, this is the best Caleb Plant anyone will ever see. Because shouldn't that have been the one that fought Canelo, Miguel, before I get to the quotes?
Well, yeah, but I mean, maybe it was. I mean, again, he's certainly not going to tell you. He's like, oh yeah, I peaked with Canelo. I didn't get any better from here. Like, obviously, he's not going to tell you that.
That was my peak. That was
that I peaked there. So what you're going to get against Benavidez is going to be a lesser version of myself. No, he's obviously not going to say that, right? So yeah, I mean, hey, maybe he's right, because when you start facing top competition, even in a loss, like, you really do gain something. So maybe he did gain something from it, and maybe he's telling us the truth.
The fight's built up that way. Mm-hmm. Right now, everyone has Benavidez as this monster who's going to take Caleb's head off. Yes. And I think too many times in boxing, people fall in love with the power puncher and not the boxer. And that's what Caleb ultimately is. He doesn't have a lot of power, stays on the outside. He's got good hands. Isn't his nickname Sweet Hands, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes. He's only got 13 knockouts in 22 fights.
He's a boxer.
He is a Sergio Mora-esque.
He's not only a boxer. There's so many angles to Caleb. I wish he had more confidence. I've said that before. I'll keep saying that. Sometimes I don't like how he holds the just like he's always proving. I guess it's a good and a bad thing. I just wish mentally he had more confidence. Sometimes he comes off as a guy who's not too strong mentally. With that being said, he has great skills. He's aware of his boundaries, and that plays well into this fight, because Benavidez is very one-dimensional. He's very straightforward. He's bringing power. He's going to have to work the jab, stay on the outside, move a lot. This is something we have not. It's not going to be like, oh my God, he never got touched. Can you believe that? That's not far-fetched in boxing sometimes, when you have these one-dimensional fighters who are fighting a technically better boxer. The guy has angles, he's pivoting, he's countering, he's jabbing while you're trying to throw this monster right hand and big left hook, bing, bing, 2 jabs and he's out. Your punch never even got close. There's a lot of potential here for Caleb Plant to look the best he ever has. So yeah, I agree with that comment.
Andrew, can I quote Mr. Mike Tyson? Everybody's got a plan till they get hit.
Yes, sir. That is very true.
And every time, I could be wrong about this, maybe I watched a different Canelo fight, Andrew. When he got hit, he didn't look so good. He didn't look so good.
Canelo, different league than Benavidez. See, that Benavidez needs to prove himself. This is his fight. He's going to prove himself. All I'm saying is too many times we go in love with the power, and then all of a sudden it's the jab and the movement of the boxer that wins the 12-round decision. And sometimes it's not a close fight. The guy that's one-dimensional never gets into his groove. Caleb has that potential. Now, Plant is going to bring it. Benavidez is going to bring it. This is his moment. He also has the chip on his shoulder of being the fat kid that wants to prove you can turn your life around and succeed. This is his moment too, under the lights. So, very interesting fight. Don't know which way I'm going, but I'm leaning towards the boxer.
All right, Miguel.
Well, historically, it goes to the boxer, right? That's just kind of the way it is. We've seen it with Manny and Floyd. We've seen it with Jeff Lacey and Calzaghe. So that does happen. It's not like out of the realm of possibility. Of course.
I hate to say it, Sergio Mora was the middleweight champion for a guy who couldn't punch his way out of a paper bag.
Right. So it's definitely more than just a possibility, it's maybe even a probability. But I don't say like maybe Benavidez is like major I guess his point to his way of winning, like I guess his victories, keys to victories are going to be his power. But he's not that bad of a boxer either. So I don't know if he was that one dimensional. Yeah, we're falling in love with his power because the dude can bang, and considering he's like naturally a bigger dude, he's gonna come in with that power. So I think maybe we're falling in love with his power. Yeah, I'll say that, but I don't think that's the only thing with Benavidez. I think he's got enough. I still think that the Plant is the better boxer overall, but Benavidez has just enough of the boxing to be able to counteract that, and of course on top of that the power. So if it was just strictly like boxing, right? I mean, it is, but I'm saying like
when you say that
purely boxing, yeah.
When you say that, are you meaning like Benavidez being able to cut the ring off, knowing? Because I've never seen him move, bounce, stay on his toes.
No. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's what makes this fight interesting. Yes.
And the size of the ring and everything else. Combos. If you give him room to move, he's going to move.
Yeah, and his combos. When he's able to pin you against the ropes, he makes you pay. He doesn't do the typical 1-2. Yeah, he doesn't do that like 1-2 shit. He throw like 4, 5, 6, and he'll fucking land on you. So I think he's gonna be able to do that. And we don't know what size the ring is gonna be, of course, but that's gonna be really Plant's key to just not get pinned up against the ropes, not get cornered. As long as he can continue to move and stick that jab in Benavidez's face, he can pull it off. So it's definitely not. It is really like possible. I'm sure he can pull that off. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to do that for 12 rounds. I don't think he's going to be able to keep Benavidez's pressure off of him for 12 rounds. That's kind of the part that remains to be seen. That's the intriguing part of this. So yes, I think overall, Plant is the better boxer, but we got 36 minutes in there, to land something heavy, and it's historically, the boxer does tend to win, but there's always that question mark. How is he going to be able to deal with the power of the boxer? I'm sorry, the puncher in Benavidez. And if Benavidez is able to do that and cut off the ring, and keep in mind, like the early rounds with Plant and Canelo, Plant wasn't doing bad. He was landing. He was doing the Floyd shoulder roll. He was countering with that fucking right. He wasn't doing bad at all. Yeah, granted, it wasn't enough to keep Canelo off him. But maybe he's learned. Maybe he has improved. Maybe that fight with Canelo brought him to a different level that we're going to see against against Canelo, against Benavidez. So that's the question. Is the power? I'm thinking that Benavidez has just enough boxing to be able to counter Plant's boxing, and on top of that, the power.
Well, according to
the ring is bigger. They complained. Benavidez, I don't know if it was a complaint, but talked about it during their build-up shows. This ring was bigger. I don't remember the size, but it is a bigger ring for. And he was like, Caleb Plant wanted that.
Well, Boxing Scenes article agrees with both of you. Given no choice but to take a long, hard look in the mirror, and trust me, it would be a hard look in the mirror. Acknowledged that if he wanted to go to the next level, he would need to enlist the help of outside forces. So he hired Stephen Breadman Edwards, standing firmly in his corner. God, what a kiss-up PBC article, Hans. Hans, let's give this writer some due. Themistode. I feel like I could have asked ChatGPT to write a better article. Firmly in his corner. What do you want to bet he doesn't look firmly on fight day? I've never seen a trainer look firmly. That's just my opinion. Here's exactly what Caleb said. You add Breadman to the equation, everything that he brings to the table. He still wants me to have all of my defensive responsibilities intact, but just bringing that Philly grit. Sitting down on my punches more, bringing new ideas and concepts to the table, having the same ideology that my dad has. They have complemented each other really well. It was a great fit. He went on to say, and I quote, "This is the best Caleb plant anybody will ever see." Well, okay. The only reason I bring that up, and I'm completely amused by it, when, not if, and spoiler for Friday's show after the weigh-in that Miguel and I will shoot. Spoiler, I've made no bones about it. I think Caleb is a fake champion, propped up by the PBC. I think that Benavidez is going to rip through him like a hot knife through butter. And that's the only way I see this fight. That's how I see the fight. I'm going to go to my grave unless there is some dramatic change on the betting board, Andrew, that shifts my way of thinking. The overs and unders are set at something very ridiculous. The draw, you guys know the rules, right? If the draw goes less than 20-1 or is somewhere around 20-1, you might want to take a look at that. They're trying to keep both fighters whole throughout the fight, which means it could easily be a majority draw. And we'll get a betting sheet and we'll go through it on Friday. So again, check out at FightNet Radio. Did we appropriately cover the fight now for a prep, Miguel, for next week? We just have to shoot a ton of content now.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I'm sure stuff is going to pop up between now and then, but yeah, for now, yeah.
For now. All right, fair enough. Moving forward. This is Gervonta Tank Davis over here, wearing some form of a dead animal on his body, said PETA, and really bad sunglasses. I don't know why guys wear sunglasses to press conferences, but that's just me. Oscar De La Hoya this week, and he shows up a lot this week. I cut it down to just a few stories, but Oscar, riding high on his hard nipples and cocaine binge, allegedly, decided that he would show up in the news every day. I've only cut it down to a few stories for all of you. But Oscar says, and I quote, "Tank is the guy. There's no doubt about it." Well, way to go, buddy. I don't know what kind of bender you were on before you did. So he, as De La, where did this happen? De La Hoya, an inquisitive looker. Okay, so apparently Oscar became introspective at the lightweight landscape. He can't help but notice the division's budding stars. Devin Haney, he declares as a budding star, or boxing scene, which, by the way, if you have all the belts, are you a budding star? Question mark? That's weird. Shakur Stevenson, I would say yes, because he hasn't fought anybody. Vasily Lomachenko is 60 years old. I think he's budded, bloomed, been cut, and put into a vase at this point. But however, to Davis and his all-around skills, here's what Oscar had to say at a recent press conference. Tank is the guy. Tank is the guy. There's no doubt. Wait, should I do it as listen, bro, Tank is the guy. I'm not saying that because I've been awake for 5 days, right? I'm not saying that because Mario can't hang out with me anymore and the only place people listen to me is at a press conference, bro. Just listen, all right? Tank is the guy. There's no doubt about it, bro. Tank's the guy. This is kind of shitty, Andrew. I mean, seriously, why would you prop him? Like, wouldn't you be blowing Ryan Garcia at this point, who's dropping weight? He's got a bad hydration clause. I mean, Oscar literally rolled over, greased up Ryan as much as he humanly could to take a big payday.
I'm hoping Oscar is betting on the future, and when you keep hyping up Davis for a big win from your guy, then you can come back and say, "Hey, I told you that was the face, and look at what my guy just did to him."
So you think this is a 5-day cocaine binge CYA, as we say in the business?
Yeah, he could be playing promoter here, and hopefully this works out for Oscar, because it's gonna be a bad look if Ryan gets.
I like that. I like, that's an executive move on Oscar. He's sitting at the 35er in Pasadena. Shout out to the 35er. I can't imagine he'd go there, but
Scarface, a mound in front of him.
And the 35er is the OJ. Look, when in the 80s, Andrew, that was the dive bar we went to. Okay, so
his former girlfriend is Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes, listen, all of you. Ryan Garcia is polluted. He's so fucking stupid. Listen, bro, he's fucking stupid. He signed that contract and I make like 60% of his paycheck, bro. Look about you. All right. Sorry, enough Scar. Miguel, it seems a little extra shitty.
It's all for comedy.
Comedy. That's the point of the show. Miguel, are you betting on the 5-day bender, or do you like Andrew's covering your ass?
No. I mean, he's definitely covering his ass. I mean, that's you have to, like, generally, the guys do that afterwards, right? After the fight ends, that's when they're like, all right, I gotta give him props, whatever. But it's like you talk crap about your opponent, talking about he ain't shit, and then you whoop his ass, and it's like, all right, well, you just beat somebody who ain't shit, so what's the big deal? So of course you're gonna have to kind of, to some degree, butter your opponent up a little bit, right? I mean, that's what Oscar's doing. It's like if because really, like, it's kind of a win-win. It's like, all right, look, we have Tank here, like, Tank is the man, right? That's what he's saying. And if his boy Ryan comes and whoops his ass, it's like, damn, what does that make Ryan? He makes him the man, right? But if Ryan does lose, it's like, all right, no shame, he lost to the man. That's just how it is, right? So I think he's covering his ass, kind of covering his bases, not being as, like, belligerent about it. But I think it's really more so that he's trying to cover his ass and trying to make it seem like, because if he's gonna, and I want to say, who was it? I want to say Roy Jones actually said this, like, if you're gonna talk shit about your opponent like that, about him not being shit, it's like it kind of devalues your victory over him, really. So if they're able to butter Tank up even more, and Ryan comes in and handles him, be it close decision or totally whoops his ass, I mean, that's going to make Ryan look even better. So I'm going to lean in that direction. I wouldn't exclude the possibility of there being a binge in there somewhere, a cook binge anyway. But I think the cover your ass part is where I'm leaning towards.
And I want to double down on a little advice for Oscar. And I've been saying this, that the Davis camp needs to be a little bit cautious on how far they take. We're the A side, we're the champions, we're this, we're that. Davis has sellouts in Washington and LA and Brooklyn. He has all these sellouts. And they keep announcing sellout. They don't tell us the numbers, but they say sellouts everywhere. This is the biggest fight Davis has ever been in. Davis has never been on a global stage. He might have done good locally. They might be good at selling tickets, but he's never been on every news outlet. The press conference is streamed online, getting millions of hits. 500,000 people are hitting their social media feeds now. 500,000 I seen the other day on Gervonta Davis's Instagram. He's never been on this stage of a fight. So what does that say about Ryan Garcia? When we talk about their popularity, I think all we can compare is their fans. Ryan's people, they do show up. Whatever fan base he has, they do show up and support him too. This is his coming out party, and what a excellent start to his career. He seems like he's a ticket seller from day one.
Very, very good point. And we will do the research to find out if Ryan Garcia gets all his TikTok followers to buy a ticket. I will be interested to see that.
They did, though.
They did, Lee. 5 minutes.
No, I think
And-
those are actual
and I'm
boxing
telling you,
fans who are dying
This
for
is
a
when
good
they were
fight.
saying, "Can you believe it's $700 for top row?" Sold out in 5 minutes.
We shall see. I have read reports that kind of vary with that particular number, or how many tickets they released, or how many are going to the hotel. So, hey, I'm not saying that the fight isn't a sellout. I'm just saying that the people in that arena are going to be a bunch of smelly guys who drag their girlfriends who don't know dick about boxing to that fight.
Who are
And it
going to be on
won't
their phones the whole time.
Yeah, it won't be, a bunch of girls who are like, Ryan, he fought with Jake Paul. And that's,
Well, there will be some. I mean, sure, there will be some, of course, I'm sure.
you think there's going to be
Mexican-Americans
intermittent,
show up.
like, packs
The
of girls?
Americans will show up. I think
Yeah,
don't underestimate the fan base.
We're going to adopt the guy whose last name is Garcia for the fight. Of course, the same way what?
And I think Ryan Garcia is still Mexican American. He's not. Yes, is he Mexican from Mexico and takes in all their trick? No, he's not that Mexican. But the Mexican Americans will buy into Texas, L.A., New York. All the guys that are here, they will still support him. There's still no. This fight is big.
It is big, but I think it's big to fight fans. I think fight fans are hard up for an old school. Look, it's been a long time since, I'll date it back. MGM used to be the place, right? And every weekend, even though they weren't champions, you'd have Mosley going at somebody who was ranked. And like, you'd have two fights that were two guys in the top 10 of their weight class. And they were great. They were great fights back in the mid to late 90s. I mean, every weekend in Vegas. We haven't had that in so long, it's ridiculous.
No, we haven't. Lee, that's why this fight is that, it is what they keep promoting it as. It's the fight that's going to set the mark. It's the fight that's going to bring the other fighters back. It's signed. It's here. It's hot. It's sold out. Let's see what it does. Look, the biggest question now about the tickets is how much money did they make? Did this land in the top 10? Boxing is not
Oscar would have already Oscar has been so all over the news this week that if they had some kind of breathtaking, bankroll at the arena, he would have already have talked about it. I'm just telling you.
We know Oscar's a mess, though. Oscar's never not going to be a mess, Lee. Seriously, he's the Mexican Vinny Pazienza. He's just more famous, but expect him to still be dating Playboy models even when he's 60. I'm just saying. Now
money buys you a lot of pussy, Andrew. I'm not gonna lie.
Don't knock.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing. Let's not forget where the fight
on money buying pussy.
Whatever they're doing, it's not. What is that old saying? Hate the player, hate the game, not the player.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
And let's not forget where the fight's taking place. It's going to be taking place in Vegas. The Texas fans are going to be Latino Texas fans, or Southern California fans, or Arizona fans, or New Mexico fans. So it's in the spot where it needs to be to get to Ryan's fan base out from where they're at. So yeah, the fact that it's going to take place here and not like someplace like fucking Fresno or some shit, it's happening in Vegas, which is, it's good. It's good. It's not going to Abu Dhabi. It's not going to anywhere else, or fucking the UK or some shit like that. It's happening in Vegas, and the fans are going to come out for Ryan.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
I was going to have Top Rank Bob pop in right there and shit all over you for bad mouthing Fresno.
Oh, jeez.
I hit lots of singles in Fresno. Good location. I don't know where it is, but they drive me there. All right, moving forward, under the category, and got a lot of social media play on our social media pages. Hashtag Fighting Outside. Tyson Fury seen here trying to figure out the words to Sweet Caroline. Usyk promoter says, sure, we'll go 70-30. To which, this is the crazy part about this story, and it happened all week. Then it turned into, hey, from Tyson Fury's camp, why don't we make it 100% purse, winner take all? Hey, why don't we do this? Hey, if we hang you upside down in a Houdini water torture and I fight you while you're inside of a glass case, we could have the fight. And then there's no rematch clause. While on Sunday, Water Buffalo are running through the craziness around. And so this has led to the speculation, of course, online with everybody, especially in the forums, that Tyson Fury doesn't want this. And now it's switching the dates because everybody claims Tyson Fury is fat and needs extra time in the gym to get back into shape. Miguel, you spend a quality amount of time looking at memes and shit like this. I mean, it's gotten a little out of hand, and I'll say it again, #fight still not signed.
Yes, it is getting, it's kind of exaggerating. I mean, it's like it's sometimes fans can be very fickle. I've seen memes with like fucking Tyson, and like his mouth is like photoshopped. It's like a duck beak or mouth or whatever the fuck, right? Like, and over his face, it's like, really, you're gonna go that far to call him a fucking duck? Jesus Christ, the dude, he's calling the shots. He is the man at that weight class. So it's like, if he's, if we're not gonna play by his rules, really, yes, he's gonna compromise to some degree, of course, but we're not gonna play by his rules. There's no fucking fight, right? So I wouldn't go as far as like, it's not that far yet. It's not that serious. It ain't that deep yet, for us to be like, okay, clearly he's, we haven't gotten to the point of Spence and Crawford where we're going to call one or the other a straight up fucking duck, especially the guy who's, considered the man of the weight class. So yeah, it's getting a little exaggerated, like, and real quick. It went from 0 to 60 real fucking fast. And as I'm saying, like, sometimes these fans, if they don't get what they want immediately, they start going online and on Instagram and whatnot with their stupid ass memes. And granted, some of them might be kind of funny, but it's like, it's not that bad yet. Like, let's hope it doesn't get there, of course. But the reality is that it's not that bad yet.
Andrew?
He's been very hard to work with, it seems, Tyson Fury.
He's not hard to work with. Listen,
I don't know.
I wanted 26 pounds of pot in my dressing room. They said no. I asked them for a bowl of soup. They said yes. We're just ironing out the details. In principle, we have a fight.
I
love it when they say shit like that. I love it.
Well, I think Bob knows it's a gold mine whenever they strike, right? So as long as people are accepting Tyson Fury's weirdness, then they move on with the fights that he signs. But I do feel the same vibes that you're putting off with. It seems like he's now trying to avoid the Usyk fight, which is really weird to me. To me, the fight can't get any bigger, but everyone knows who these two men are. The fight's huge. He beat Joshua twice. You're the king of the heavyweight division. Like, what's there left to prove? And yeah, he keeps coming out with these weird Instagram tweets or whatever, posted where he's changing demands or the fight is off if you don't sign by this time. Well, the fight hasn't been signed, so is it off? Well, we'll see what happens, but no, I'm going to say, outside looking in, Tyson Fury's been hard to work with since he became the king of the heavyweight division.
Joining us is, of course, Top Rank Bob, who's been interrupting throughout this segment. Bob, what's going on? Listen, it's going to be in Abu Dhabi with the Tusken Raider people, the guys with the wrapped heads. It's a really good Star Wars reference for all three of you who got the Star Wars reference. Didn't they call them the Sand People? I'm not shitting you. I feel like when I Googled Sand People, I got a picture of Tusken Raiders. So no disrespect to anyone from the Middle East, since that's our number one fan base, which I'm still trying to figure out. To this day, I cannot figure that out. It's interesting to me. There's $100 million on the line, Andrew. I mean, bottom line, is the fight going to happen in your mind?
Hey, listen, they seem to have said yes to all of his demands so far. So I'm guessing they're going to continue to agree, and they'll get their fight as long as the money is better than anywhere else that Usyk would take on. They're going to keep saying yes. I think another thing, we shouldn't underestimate Usyk's confidence. Every once in a while, we always say these fighters have to have a level of confidence that to go into a bad deal and come out the winner and then make your money and the next fight. Maybe Usyk's playing that card. He's 35. He's not getting any younger. He knows he has the upper hand on Tyson for whatever reason in his head. He knows he has that move that's going to beat him. He'll keep accepting demands until they come to an agreement, and he'll get his fight.
Miguel, will the fight happen?
Yes. Now, whether or not it happens this year, I don't know. That's kind of like, yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. It might be delayed. So I'm not. I'm not going to say. Granted, it's still late. It's March. We're ending the first quarter of the year. So we've been talking about this since fucking January. So nonetheless, yeah. So whether or not it actually happens this year, I'm not entirely sure. Of course, fingers crossed. I'm going to light a couple of candles here, and hopefully this shit does go down. But yes, I do think the fight will happen, and it won't get to the point that we're going to be, talking man shit about it the way we are, like Spencer Crawford. So I'm thinking that might be like what Andrew was saying, as far as like Usyk, maybe taking the cut here and then possibly more in the rematch if he kind of gambles on himself. We've seen it happen before with, I want to say, Zab Judah and Corey Spinks. Judah took like a fucking major ass pay cut and ended up winning and got a nice payday in the fucking rematch, right? Sometimes you just have to bank on yourself. Yes.
Miguel, call me crazy, but when he giggled and was like, "Okay, greedy belly, I will accept," he just sounded like a level of confidence that was kind of scary. Like, this guy knows he's gonna gut you, man. So I'm hoping he's going on that.
The height difference and the reach difference is ridiculous. I mean, I don't. Well, all right. Well,
but if anybody
I don't want to get excited about the fight. It'll get me excited about the fight.
It will.
The fight's not happening.
Can do it, it will be fucking Usyk like that. I mean, that dude has been in the zone for how the fuck long? With the Olympics and undisputed cruiserweight champ, and then people thought I mean, yes, we knew he was going to be a legitimate threat against AJ, but AJ did hit it pretty good pretty good against him, especially in that rematch, to the point where if you just let his power go a little bit more, he probably would have had a better showing in that rematch. But nonetheless, like, if anybody can do that, can handle Tyson's height and the constant grabbing and like putting all his weight on Usyk, it's going to be somebody like Usyk. So yeah,
and Lee,
the fight's going to get signed. It will.
And Lee, you've called Usyk from the very beginning that he was the real deal, because he's agreed to all of these negotiation demands that Fury keeps putting on him. If this fight is not to get signed, he walks away the winner. Tyson Fury will never be looked at the same as the lineal champion by backing out of a fight against a guy who had all the credentials in the world. You can't be more credentialed than Usyk going into a fight. This is so big for Tyson's legacy as he's coming to an end on his career. This one fight can put him there. I'm hoping he knows that. But no, if this doesn't work out, we know who's the one that was avoiding. It definitely wasn't the Usyk team.
Fun side fact, because you did say the word real deal. This week also, because they realized they're not getting the fight, the internet stooges, I don't know what to call them, the jackals, the boxing jackals,
the
trolls, the boxing trolls. There you go. The boxing trolls started to say, who's better, Evander Holyfield or Alexander Usyk? In my opinion, there's no discussion on the topic, but it's funny that now we've moved on. Let's just fantasy book at this point. I'm not sure he could have outboxed Evander. I really don't. Evander, that was a tough dude who was in with very big guys. So you internet trolls, have fun because you're not getting your Tyson Fury fight, but I just think it's amusing that you guys have moved on. Our next story.
Hey, Lee, I'll say it like this. If he makes it to Evander's level, or if he's already there, he's already a legend. Now, when you compare him to Evander Holyfield, Evander, he
doesn't have the Olympics. Certainly,
he's a poor man's Evander. Yes, he's light on his feet, good movement, he combos, but he's not Evander Holyfield moving on his feet combos. Evander is a very light, big man, and I think his boxing skills would have still beaten Usyk, even though they're both on the same level as far as legend wise.
Be a great fight. Miguel, did you want to comment on that troll move that happened this week?
I don't like those kind of hypothetical.
I hate all of them.
Yeah,
Ali versus Tyson.
Right.
Just stop.
We start going into we going down the rabbit hole of like, the level of competition wasn't the same, and there were 3 belts back then. Now there's 4, and it just.
Well, we're not going to get the Fury Usyk fight, so we should, fantasy.
Hey, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Now
Hashtag fight not signed.
Now with that
I got to get t-shirts made.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if Greedy Belly
We
doesn't
need
fucking
that as
sign
a
the,
sound bite.
Can I get
We
those
need-
T-shirts before we go to Vegas? I think those are the shirts to walk around
Great.
with. Hashtag fight
He
not
said.
signed.
uh,
Fuck me. Moving forward, Richard Schaefer, seen here, still smiling and smirking that he's destroyed Oscar De La Hoya's life and sent him on a, close to a 10-year cocaine bender, allegedly, was now named the president of Anthem Sports Group and will continue to promote Donaire and Stanionis.
yes.
But the reason I bring this up, this guy has the worst shit record on the planet of not being a team ball player. He seems to move from company to company. And this Toronto-based company is like, Richard Schaefer is a major force in combat sports in the boxing arena. As one of the industry's most respected executive. That's the one I had a problem with. The word respected. That's like saying, oh, people love Don King. No, they don't. I don't know anybody who does except Don King. Don King looks in the mirror every morning at the only person who loves Don King and calls him respected. He's got to be right up there, Andrew, with Steven Espinosa. If we were to make the shittiest people in boxing list, I am telling you, there is a good three-way run between Espinosa, Don King, and Richard Schaefer. And then trailing slightly behind him is Al Heyman.
You know who Richard Schaefer reminds me of at this point? Is you ever seen that movie with Ben Affleck, The Accountant?
Yeah.
When he's the tax guy for all the bad
Yes.
dudes. Yeah, that's Schaefer. He just turns bad money into good money. That's all he's doing here.
So you're saying he's a money launderer, allegedly?
Yeah, he's working for another mob guy. Yeah, Richard Schaefer's real good. Yeah, go promote the fight.
So we found wait, hold on. So yet again, we found another guy who walks into a diner and negotiates Nonito Donaire's contract by sitting back to back and changing cell phone SIM chips and.
You hit it out of the park the first time with the MLK. Schaefer had his hands all in that one. So Triller seems to have come, thrown a few events, just disappeared. The hands all in that one, and here we go again. So no, I think we're on we should take Ben Affleck's head off of the Accountant poster and put Richard Schaefer's thing. I just don't know if he's as badass as Ben Affleck was in the movie when the bad guys actually go after him.
First of all, this is a Canadian group, and the name Anthem, which is a big deal to Rush fans. I certainly hope that Getty and Alex do not have money invested in your organization as a Rush fan, because he's going to lose you money. Richard Schaefer has the what's the death what's the death touch? Isn't there a name for that punch? The nip knocker.
Oh, the dim mock. The dim mock.
Dim mock.
You know what would be a great movie? What about this plot twist? Like there's a big drug sale going on during the fight. They're like, fuck the fight. We don't care if the fight makes money. It's what's going on in the back room. Maybe that's the plot twist. You never know, Lee.
Oh, so funny. Miguel.
I'm giving them gems here. This is a great movie.
Dim mock. Oh my God, that is so funny, Miguel.
That's what it's like. You can imagine, like, Schaefer in the fucking.
All right, Miguel, be the voice of reason. Has Richard Schaefer done anything good in the sport of boxing other than destroy companies?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Boxing, no. But this is kind of like where the conspiracy theory comes in. Like, I don't know if I'm sure you guys have heard or have already read, but John Jones, somehow got Schaefer's services somehow. I'm not sure what the fuck.
I feel the dim mock coming.
Right. Well, here's the thing though. Like, there was a point where John Jones hadn't been in the UFC for quite some time, right? And some point during that time, he linked up with Richard Schaefer, and now magically he's back, and I'm sure he got paid for his most recent fight, right? Because he made history by becoming the heavyweight champion of the UFC. But anyway, whether or not that had anything to do with Schaefer is beyond me. Fuck if I know. But it sure as hell is funny that that happened. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Schaefer was even ringside or cage side when John Jones got the heavyweight title recently. So I don't know. That's the direction he's going. In that direction now, and he's kind of maybe putting more attention. Maybe there's more money to be made in MMA for himself. Then he's pretty much like fucked up everybody. He's burnt all his bridges in the sport of boxing as much as he possibly can. So I think maybe he's starting to kind of get his greedy ass hands on MMA now. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, that dude, we need to have a fucking what's the word? Like some sort of Olympics for people like him. Like we're gonna give him a gold medal for being a fucking Scumbag.
All right, moving forward, Tim Tszyu seen here trying to flex what little muscle he has. Glenn Jennings, the manager, undefeated junior. He doesn't have any muscle tone. I don't know why anybody would do the muscle flex when you have no. It's not a good look. Glenn Jennings, the manager for the undefeated junior middleweight Tim Tszyu, was pushing for a July date. In a perfect world, we'd go on in July. We already know Tim isn't carrying any injuries from the win over Tony, which is wonderful. Obviously, we're bound by Charlo's recovery, which he looked fine on TV for anybody who didn't see it. It didn't even look like he had surgery, and I question that allegedly. So here's the question. Do you think, Miguel, that Charlo has the balls to fight a Tim Tszyu based on what he saw and I realized that this week he did the look, I already broke Tony Harrison and that's why it was so easy to be, I already broke the light bulb and he was easy pickings for Tim Tszyu. Plus he was weight drained and he went to Australia and he flew there on a blimp and that just wasn't the same Tony Harrison. Okay. I get the feeling Charlo's going to find a way out of this fight, and I will say it in a Fight Net Radio exclusive. I feel the AIDS coming on,
and I think that's where we need to use the Gervonta Davis words to put these guys in a corner. Us as media, you guys as being there at the press conference, if the Charlos are seen floating around, you really got to stick it to them with this one. Like, do you feel pressure on taking this fight more now that Showtime, Espinoza, Al Heyman, Leonard Ellerby, everyone's basically saying it's time for you guys to take the big fights and just put the microphone right in his face and see how they respond. But if we keep putting their feet to the fire, eventually the fans will turn away from their bullshit fights. Let Spence come out and try to fight another fucking Ocampo or some shit. I don't think it's going to have as much success anymore. We went down that road. The fights are here. They're ready. These guys are old. Now it's just time to show up.
So, Andrew, if I'm hearing you correctly, I'm using my therapy sessions here. If I'm hearing you correctly, you would like me to find Charlo and say, will Charlo fight Tim Tszyu in July? Question one.
Well, for Jamal... I believe it's Jamal's the middleweight, right?
You think I'd be able to tell them apart? Are you shitting me?
Listen, go tell them. I don't know which one you are, but I got to fight.
Why do you think I walk around with Miguel? I can't spot fighters anyway. Look, the number one reason I go with Miguel to these press conferences, I couldn't pick out anybody but maybe a handful of people. Miguel's the one who's like, hey, that's Bam, and hey, that's so-and-so, and hey, that's so-and-so. I'm like, okay.
They got different haircuts, I think, now, right, Miguel?
One has frosted tips. I think that's
I don't know what they got different. I mean, I know it's because of their weight, right? I think one is a little chunkier than the other, but I still don't know which. Would you be
able to do it, Miguel?
I would be able to look at one and be like, all right, that's the middleweight. I'd rather not. He's Jamal or Jamal. I don't know. That's the problem.
So here's the interesting thing. Why haven't they made an app on your phone that you could just put the picture, like your phone over their picture, and it immediately identifies? Just look, on a celebrity level in general, for all those people who walk up and go, hey, you're that guy. And by the way, I've been to boxing events, like the Hall of Fame. I've gone to a couple of those where I've sat down with like people from the forums and they're like, hey, you're that guy. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, you're that guy. I've seen you. Okay. You don't have the app. Clearly you don't have the app and you should get the app or ask ChatGPT. I like ChatGPT's definition of me, but, man, could you imagine, wait, Miguel, 10 questions with Charlo on the topic. Question one, will Tim Tszyu fight Charlo? Question number two, will Charlo fight anybody in the top 10? Question number, like, if I gave these questions to Miguel, Andrew, I guarantee he would look at me like I'm insane. I guarantee. He is not a face-to-face interview guy. It is, even when I give him the softball people, it's a little questionable all the time. He likes being behind the camera on video.
Well, listen, I still say they both have fights. For Jermel, it would be Tszyu. And for Jamal, it's going to be the winner of Benavidez and
Well, which is which?
Plant.
Which look, I just know this from history. If I'm going to do an awkward interview, which we all know I don't have a problem with, please cite after the Tyson Fury fight. I think Miguel was off the stage when that occurred. That was very awkward and very weird. If I do that with a Charlo, that could be a full blown, they're hood, man.
Yeah,
They'll take an episode. They might take a crack, and we might actually get to play "Will You Knock Lee Out with One Punch," played in real time.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they are. Remember, Daniel Jacobs kind of punked them a while back. It's on YouTube. I think they know their limits. They're good guys outside of the ring.
But we're not Daniel Jacobs, so
no, we're not.
You don't stand down. It's like a wild bear. No, I'm just kidding. Don't get punched.
Actually, again, Andrew, that's not really the problem with me. This true story. This week,
you have a bleeder. You don't want to take a punch from a Jamal or Jamal Charlo to the head.
Let me tell you randomly what happened this week. I shit you not. And Miguel knows my business partner, Fred, who I do my daytime coaching calls with. Like randomly on Wednesday, I go, yeah, I'm going to Vegas next week and blah, blah, blah. He goes, you know that time you got hit by the heavyweight? I went, yes, you should play it for everybody right now. I'm like.
Even though demanding a call out for a fight should not warrant a punch to your head. I mean, I didn't say to walk up and insult these men. I said to walk up and say. I
think calling them a Charlo would be insulting.
Is the Zoo fight your next fight? That's not insulting. The other one is the Plant versus Benavidez your next fight. Like, I don't even want it.
No, all right. I got it wrong, Andrew. The first question should be, which Charlo are you?
Oh, no. Oh, my God. You got to figure that out, Lee.
If I could pull that off without shitting my own pants. And Miguel literally I could see the video of Miguel walking further and further away from the situation in my mind's eye with the camera.
Just cover your bases and walk up and go, look, I actually got a question for both of you guys. You can answer them both.
They're not going to be together. I've never seen them together.
Let's play it safe. Let's just blanket questions.
Just blanket, hey, Charlo, question.
Yeah.
That seems rude.
Question for you and your brother.
Question for whichever fucking one you are.
Question for you and or your brother.
You and who do you guys think you guys will be fighting next? I'm talking in the plural because I'm still not sure which fucking Charlo you are.
Tell El Henry you did a great job promoting your career.
God, I wish I had the balls to do that. That is a big set of balls. That is a big set of balls. Miguel, is this fight ever going to happen, or will Charlo get the AIDS?
No, I think if we had any doubts of which Charlo is like the real deal, the realest of the deals, it's going to be the 154-pound Charlo. So I do think that fight does go down. Keep in mind, he's got exactly. He's got the balls in his court. He's the undisputed champion. So he can call the shots. He's going to have to use the A side here, right? So the majority of the negotiation is going to be in his favor. And if I have to assume that with Sue, with Tim being being a second generation, boxer, his pops kind of knows the business, well enough to be like, all right, bro, kiddo, whatever, however the hell he calls him, son. You're not the fucking A side, right? We kind of have to compromise some of this shit, right? So we want to make sure this fight gets done. We're gonna have to let a little bit of the rope go. So I'm sure that he's Tim and his people are smart enough to know that they're going to have to compromise some shit, and they're going to make the fight happen. So I feel certain that as long as those conditions are met, which will definitely heavily favor Charlo, that the fight will happen. And the middleweight Charlo, well, fuck if I know when the hell that he's going to get back in the ring. But of the two, the real deal is the 154-pound Charlo, and I suspect. I mean, he fucking he beat he lost to Harrison, and then he came back and he beat him. He had that close fight with Castano, and he fought him a second time again. Even I want to say the fight was postponed at some point, and the fight still went down. So that dude, he's the real deal. So yeah, I'm positive that the fight will happen, and it will happen before the end of the year.
Moving forward, Danny Garcia is eager to shock Lara. Well, Danny Garcia is still in the news. despite us wishing him away. And he is yet, in my humble opinion, to beat anybody of note. So he honestly believes that he's going to take out Lara and then, quote, after that, I want the biggest fights possible. Now, I'm not trying to be a dick about Danny Garcia. Wait, after that fight, I'll be the middleweight champion. I'll fight the biggest fight possible. I'm kind of over the Danny Garcia experiment, Miguel. I think we've allowed him to fight champions and people in the top 10, and he has not proven himself other than being a guy who can beat up people below the top 10 and then, be an asshole. And by the way, photo scene here, Danny Garcia being an asshole after a fight.
Not at these weight classes, at least, because at 140 he was something else, right? That motherfucker was a monster. But 147, yeah, he got himself a belt. But when it came to fighting top dudes, he came up short. And then I'm not sure what the hell he's done at 154 lately, but if he's gonna fight, Lara, it's gonna be at 160 because Lara is the 160-pound champ, for the WBF, if I'm not mistaken. So he's gonna move up to 160. All right, let's do it then. Fuck it. But I don't know, if he's over here, only knocking out potato cans or tomato cans. And fucking, 154 at 154, he's good. I don't know what his power is gonna be at 160 enough to do anything to Lara. And keep in mind, Lara is a very, very slick boxer, and he's a southpaw. He's a Cuban boxer, so it's like. It's not going to be an easy task. I hope he comes in with as much confidence as he possibly can. Garcia, I'm talking about, but I don't think he's going to come away with a victory in this one. We'll see what happens, but I'm pretty sure Lara's going to come away with the belt.
Potential matchup to be a disaster for Danny Garcia. I agree with everything that Miguel said about the size advantages of Lara going into this fight, and I agree with what you said, Lee, about Danny. If he was ever going to be special, would have happened already. This man has already fought when he was at 140, Morales twice, Amir Khan, Zab Judah, moves up, fight already. He's fought.
He lost to Thurman. He lost to Porter. He lost to Spence. That's the only discussion that needs to happen.
And he fought all of their best guys. And not only did he fight their best guys, PBC stable I'm talking about, he also fought him in the hottest market that PBC had. When he fought Robert Guerrero, these guys were making millions of dollars for a fight that was kind of, him versus Robert. Robert was already on the downside of his career, yet they both made $3 or $5 million that day.
Listen, bro, you don't understand. He beat Eric Morales. He beat Zab Judah.
What I'm trying to say, though, and that Morales fight, pay-per-view. Lucas Matsise, pay-per-view. His money has already been made. He's already faced the top stars of his career. This means he's on the downside of his career. Now you're moving up in weight and taking on what Miguel just listed off. Southpaw, bigger, carried his punch. It's looking like a disaster for the end of Danny Garcia's career.
They say his net worth is $6 million. We shall see. We shall see. He was into broadcasting and podcasting for a while, and then he decided to go back to boxing again. Yay, with that big win over Jose Benavidez Jr.
Doesn't he have some clothing line with
that's what hurt him. Is when he started investing his money. I don't know how the investments play into your net worth, but he has a lot of money, I think, invested in the clothes.
Yeah, or perfume or cologne or whatever the fuck he has.
And I think he was doing his sister's music career. And then not only that, did you guys see Caleb Plant with his little action figure on the build-up show? That was funny. What the hell, an action figure? I've never seen that before. He's trying.
Don't you need to actually have some action to have an action figure? Come on now. Yeah,
he's got to have a big win here. Maybe
I think he needs a bobblehead. I think there needs to be like a.
Maybe a few big wins, man. Somebody will go to his website and purchase the Caleb Sweet Hands Plant action figure.
That takes us to our featured story of the week.
Lee,
yes,
you need that in your drop in the back. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna go purchase one. That'll go in the back of the drop when you do your show, dude.
Okay.
The Caleb Plant figure.
That takes us to our featured story of the week. It is the biggest story of the week. And it is the summoning of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, I'm quite sure. Adrian Broner signs an agreement with Don King. We've all seen the photos. It all seems to be the real deal. Here is what Adrian Broner had to say. I have a fantastic camp with Kevin Cunningham, and I can hardly wait to get back into the ring again. Winning a world title and constantly defending or unifying the titles is what I am aiming to do. By the way, this is clearly written for him. He does not speak that eloquently in real life. Let's see what else. The phenomenal team up of superstar, exciting bad boy boxing, Adrian Broner, and the world's greatest boxing. Who wrote this shit? By random hits. Oh, it's a ChatGPT article. Okay, that makes sense. Nobody else would say that about Don King. No, buddy. Oh, Don King said it. That makes more sense. Only Don King would talk that well about him. All right, here's Don King's quote. The phenomenal team up of superstar, exciting, air quotes, bad boy of boxing, Adrian Broner, and the world's greatest boxing promoter will give the people what they want, the best of boxing and the best of boxing excitement. Okay. Capturing the imagination, the heart, and the mind, stimulating the boxing imagination, begging the all-important question, when is the next event? All right, so when he says best boxing excitement, are we looking for him to commit armed robbery or, beat somebody up on this? Like, what? Adrian Broner is not known for any good excitement, Andrew. He's only known for bad excitement.
Yeah, when you look at the amount of cash on the table that Don King,
that's all he got. That's all he got, like the $5,000 on the table.
It literally looks like he's paying some bills off for Adrian. Adrian's gonna pay him back by doing a fight, and maybe Don will make a few dollars, and they'll all move on with their life. But the money does not look like it's setting Adrian off into the sunset on a retirement plan. So kind of sad position Adrian's in. Look. You're at the bottom of the barrel when you work with a man who's kind of been blackballed out of the sport for a while now. Yeah, every once in a while you see Don King pop his head up in boxing, but for the overall picture, he hasn't been involved in a major fight in a very long time. So it's just a bad look for Adrian Broner. I really think he's dead. He must have been. He needed money to stay out of jail, is what I'm guessing. And Don King supplied him with it, and now they'll do some obscure pay-per-view fight that I don't know how Don makes a fucking dime on, but they'll do something and they'll go away. And that's all this is about. I mean, maybe Adrian looks successful and will get his name into another shot somewhere else, but that's about all he's fighting for right now.
Miguel, I liked your comment that Adrian Broner now becomes a heavyweight. That was actually very amusing to me.
Well, that's pretty much it. The only people that fucking, Don King is promoting at this point is just a bunch of heavyweights, and that will, periodically I'll get these emails from like the mailing list, right, that I'm on with Don King. So, yeah, it's, for all we know, all that money that was on the table is already gone. Like it's already owed, it was like legal fees and fucking child support or whatever the fuck else, Yeah. So, it's really just maybe like breaking even, and maybe he still is in the red for all we know. But, yeah, if he thought fucking Al Heyman was bad, Jesus Christ, like he went from like worst to, out of the frying pan into the fire, really, because Don King is synonymous for these fucking contracts where it's like, oh yeah, it's blank right now, just sign here and I'll fill in the rest later. Like that's pretty much what the hell he's gonna do with Broner. So I don't know to what degree, how long, what kind of like length of time we're talking about here, but this is really Broner's last hurrah, really. Like, if he wanted to end his career, the best thing he could have done to end his career is to sign with Don King, which is precisely what he did. So, who knows how many fights he's got on this damn contract, or when the hell his first fight is going to be. He looks happy to have some sort of cash in his hand, and of course, back to his old Broner ways of like holding it in his hand, like old school style. So it's like, all right, well, if Broner is known for bad excitement now, at one point he wasn't known for bad excitement, or at least not that bad. He's
wait until it's encouraged by Don King. God,
yeah,
help
us. Encouraged. Really, I think he has his own encouragement. It's funded by Don King. Go ahead, Andrew.
Not only do you have to read the contract twice, they say when you sign, you have to flip it over, check the back, make sure there's no invincible ink on this bitch. Like Don King does everything to get his fighters trapped. You can almost guarantee that Don King is now the promoter to his next 3 belts, even though he doesn't owe him any money. It's probably going to be, I don't care who you fight, you're going to give me $100 grand because I paid your bills on this one. That's how Don King's contracts work. That's literally what got Mutombo or whatever that cruiserweight was out of the fight with Canelo. We've said it on the show. Now that Don King's name is involved, he will not get that fight. He didn't get it. They like, nobody wants to work with Don King because all of a sudden you owe him money on your next fight, and he doesn't owe any promotional part of it. He doesn't put in any money. You just owe him money because the last fight he helped you. The fuck out of here. That's
I've talked about this. I've talked about this previously, Andrew. I know a heavyweight fighter that fought a Don King fighter, got into the system, was signed up to get a title shot through the fight because he didn't want to be under Don King's thumb. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Right. And this particular fighter told me over dinner, oh, I know I could beat him. I hit him once and I knew he was going to go down. I held him up. And he said, I threw the fight. He goes, there's no way I'm going to work for Don King. No way. His contract was awful. Take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, very sad.
I did put a Revelations quote, but now I'm starting to. Yeah.
Wait. Now everyone remember when Broner was wiping his ass with $100 bills and throwing him in the toilet.
Well, he has more now, thanks to Don King.
Now I'm not sad anymore. Look at that. See how fast that went away?
Now he's got more. I had made a Revelations quote on Facebook about this, about the coming of the apocalypse. I've changed my mind. This is the coming of Gozer the Gozerian. This is Ghostbusters. This is the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper joining up. Like this, there is nothing good that will come out of this combination of people. Nothing.
Well,
it's like
it's going to be a train
wreck. Suge Knight just reunited.
Yeah.
There's a BMW shooting at the end of this story.
Yeah, there should be. I mean, pretty much. Moving forward, Oscar De La Hoya.
You telling me there's a conspiracy? Don King already got a life insurance policy out on Adrian Broner,
and probably himself. I mean, either way, what a wacky ass pair. Moving forward, Oscar De La Hoya, as I said, was in the news all week. This was my favorite. It seems like Canelo is regressing in the ring. As you didn't know, San Diego, just a couple of days ago, they had the press conference with a guy named Ryder, who nobody's ever heard of outside of the UK. It's Eddie Hearn giving Canelo a birthday present wrapped up in a big giant bow. Although Ryder did look much bigger, but here is what Oscar had to say. Hey, listen, bro, I think it's great Canelo is going back to his roots. He's going back to his hometown. I think it's a special thing. We at Golden Boy were the last promoters to promote him in his hometown, I believe, like 12 years ago. You remember when we were still together? That's when I gave him the ring.
When times were good.
When times were good. In terms of the opposition, I'm not sure what direction he wants to go in. It seems like he's regressing inside the ring. I mean, he's fucking all these whores. I mean, that's really what's happening here. Like, I don't know why he has to fuck whores. I mean, I'm like right here. So Oscar went on a big thing, and then Eddie went on a big thing about like, and I quote Eddie Hearn, Oscar should mind his own damn business. And number two, if you were doing such a great job, he would have stayed with you. I mean, it's real ex-girlfriend bullshit between Eddie and Oscar again. But, you know, Oscar's still on his 6 or 7 day cocaine run, allegedly. Just couldn't stop himself after that Ryder press conference.
Yeah, but Lee, I got to totally cut in here. Eddie Hearn's living off of the alimony between the divorce of De La Hoya and...
That's why they won't get married, bro. Listen, I know why he's living with him. I get it.
When you're the boyfriend who ain't adding to the pot, you're just living off of the fucking alimony of the ex-husband? No, fuck you. What can you say? He's done nothing for Canelo's career but put it on a downward spiral. I'm sorry, Mr. Eddie Hearn. His opponents are fucking garbage. Nobody cares about his fights. Yeah, globally around the world he's being watched. What's his numbers in America? I give a fuck what he's doing globally. Who's paying for his fights here in America? Oh, what, 600,000? That's not the number one face in boxing. Sorry, So no, fuck Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is the new boyfriend that ain't adding shit to the pot. He could take a seat, man.
And this, kids, is why you should never get married. Miguel, would you like to weigh in on this domestic dispute?
Well, I mean, you guys pretty much summed it up pretty well. I'm familiar with John Ryder just because when some time ago.
Because you watched Dazzin like a sycophant.
Well, yeah, kind of, but he fought was Callum Smith some time ago, and he kind of has sort of similar dimensions and like body composition than Canelo, and I kind of like compared him to Canelo when Canelo was coming up against Callum Smith himself. So and he has a win over Daniel Jacobs, so that's something. Mind you, he did lose to fucking Rocky Fielding, who Canelo absolutely demolished. So what we're gonna see, hopefully we're gonna see a different Ryder and somebody who's actually gonna put on a better performance, and he's gonna give Canelo some rounds. But yeah, I mean, this is really one of those just like mandatory title defenses, and it was almost, I mean, he is an English fighter, of course, so it's almost as if fucking Eddie Hearn or Tommy Hearn is like kind of elbow in elbow with elbowing Ryder's ribs, and like, hey buddy, I'll get you a nice payday with Canelo, man. Yeah, we'll make you the mandatory kind of deal. So it's just prep for down the line Canelo and Bivol rematch most likely or something, huh?
Hey, you guys, soundbite this one and send it to fucking Eddie Hearn. The hottest fighter ever brought to DAZN was made by Oscar De La Hoya. The biggest fight ever brought to DAZN is going to be made by Oscar De La Hoya. So far, right now, currently, Garcia versus DAZN has Garcia Davis has DAZN ties. Am I not mistaken? They have their name on the. Yeah. They're getting the rematch, aren't they?
It's DAZN pay-per-view. I mean, that's what I saw. It was DAZN pay-per-view. Garcia Davis.
Eddie Hearn needs to watch what he says. De La Hoya is the best thing that happened to that fucking company. It is not Eddie Hearn.
There you go. Moving forward, Special K Brooks, seen here high on Special K. What a great photo. I don't know how they found one that actually looks like he's been on an Oscar De La Hoya 5-night bender photo. I'd love to show Connor Ben what time it is. All right, so Special K, having done Special K on video for everybody, both via TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, that everybody saw that, they just brushed under the rug because, let's be honest, cocaine is a hell of a drug. I don't dispute that. So here's the thing. You got a guy who's juicing and a guy who's snorting. I like the fight personally, but I think Kell Brooks is completely and utterly insane, Miguel, for wanting to call out a very cranky Connor Ben.
Yeah. I mean, he, everybody says this cocaine's expensive, right? So he needs.
It's a hell of a drug.
He needs to fund the habit. But I mean, it's a death wish, especially especially coming in with Connor being as pissed off as he is, eager to get back in the ring, knowing how he throws his fucking hands. The dude swings for the fences like a motherfucker. It's like, dude, I mean, if you want to end your career, by all means, have at it, and enjoy the payday for as long as you can while you're fucking, eating your food through a straw. But I don't know. It could be just. I mean, hey, maybe him and De La Hoya hang out a lot, and they have these 5-day binges for all we fucking know. Because what he's saying is lunacy.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug. If I was really patient, I would put the Rick James quote in here. But cocaine's a hell of a drug, Andrew.
I missed who we're talking. Is this the Manny one?
Kell Brooks, Connor Ben.
Oh, fuck Kell Brooks. Oh yeah, fuck him. No. Manny Pacquiao just got interjected into the Connor Ben sweepstakes.
Yeah, but they again, it didn't even really make the news. That is just a badly speculated rumor. I'll give Boxing Scene. All right, I'm going to give Boxing Scene a little bit of credit here. They really don't put stories up that are just straight up rumors. They don't even quote Mike Coppinger anymore. Shout out to Mike Coppinger and his bad predictions. And I believe it was Coppinger who said that.
It's a downer of a fight. That's what I was going to say. I didn't want to see it. Connor Ben don't deserve a name like Manny Pacquiao on his resume. So I hope it is a bad rumor. But with that rumor being out there, I'm definitely not paying attention to the Kell Brook rumor. Kell Brook gets no action, even if the Manny Pacquiao rumor's a lie. With Manny Pacquiao's name being out there, we could skip this Kell Brook story. He's not getting the fight with the other one.
These are direct quotes from No, these are direct quotes from Connor and Kel about putting it together. But again,
you know what? This is the UK thing, huh, Lee? They're both from the UK.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. Can I say this to everybody in any forum who's watching the video or listening to us? If you see something from Mike Coppinger, really, it's right up there with like the Sun magazine in the UK. Like, it is he is so far out in left field on some of his rumors these days. I don't think he's gotten anything right. The fact that he still works for ESPN is shocking to me. He must be listening to janitors. I overheard a meeting,
he's
Mike.
Getting credentialed, so he's doing something right. And what the fuck? You know, if he's really that much of a poison, you think they would blackball his
He's not a poison. He makes boxing fun for people who like to speculate and make posters about fights that won't happen. There are Conor Ben Manny Pacquiao posters floating around already. Yeah, not signed. They're not signed. The fight's not signed. It doesn't. Moving forward, and probably the biggest news of this weekend, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. How'd I do? Did I sound white at all?
Quite. Yeah.
I'm working on my white. I'm working on getting my white off. Working to get my white off. That's a great quote. Sometimes I even amuse myself. Was well over the weight limit. He was, in fact, so far over the weight limit that, and by the way, you can still have the fight. You know who has to say no to the fight? That would be Gabe Rosado had to say no to the fight. And Oscar couldn't throw money at it because, well, the fight wasn't worth any money. But, and I know this, when a fighter is overweight for a non-title fight, right? If the opponent agrees to the overage on weight, you can still have the fight. It's kind of a historical fact, even in California. Well, Gabe said no, which tells me Gabe doesn't need a payday that bad or wants to get beat up that bad. But, you know, whatever. They were at the Walter Pyramid campus of Cal State University, Long Beach, when Zurdo failed to make weight. And due to Gilberto failing to make weight, contracted weight, Zurdo versus Rosado has been canceled. We are very disappointed.
Hey,
nobody's disappointed, Andrew. Nobody's disappointed.
Hey, Lee, but I got to tell you, they failed the next day too. Isn't that what?
Yes, that's going to be our lead-in. It's going to be our lead-in to JoJo and
Rosado tried. He tried to give them some time to lose a few pounds just so they could do a fight. The guy doesn't even make. I think Ramirez was hurt, but continue.
No, it's fine. First, can we take anything away from this? So you think Ramirez is hurt, Andrew? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to say sometimes there's a dirty side of business where you don't want to announce the fighter's injured because you know ticket sales that were already purchased might go away faster than if you announce a missed weigh-in. Hey, if you don't want to come tomorrow night, go ahead. People have already made their plans. The babysitters are already set.
No, and they did the whole very low key of you can get a return on your tickets up until 3:00. And
can you imagine if it happened a week ago? Then the return policy is probably a lot higher than, sorry, tomorrow night, he didn't make the weight, so tomorrow's fight still going on. But so to me, I think Ramirez is hurt. Come on, you miss fucking weigh-ins by 10 pounds. You don't even try. Whatchamacallit doesn't even seem injured. I'm sure he got paid for his. Everything is covered. What Rosario put in, he wasn't even mad. He's like, fight got canceled, something happened in boxing. I was prepared. It just seemed like he got
lessons from Oscar, right? When he got the liver shot. Oh, I tried so hard. Oh,
it really did have that feeling to it, Lee. It really did. Yeah, I think Ramirez was injured.
I wanted to get up, but it hurt so bad when he hit me in the liver. Oh, by the way, let me introduce you to my new business partner, Miguel. Do you buy the injury, or do you think that Zurdo doesn't give a fuck no mo and thought he'd get away with it? That's what I think.
Well, so first and foremost, it wasn't Rosado that said no to the fight, because here's the thing.
He has to. That's the thing. First of all, it's on an Indian reservation, which means who gives a fuck? It's out in India on the reservation.
Right, exactly. So this is what I'm thinking. What's his name? let's just say for the sake of argument, what's his name? Zurdo is injured, right? Like that still is good for Rosado. Like, because a portion of his purse goes to Rosado, so it's like, oh shit, this guy's gonna come in probably underprepared because he's hurt or whatever the hell, and it's like I can still get a nice payday, and I could probably whoop his ass in front of everybody, win most likely because the dude's overweight and shit like that, right? So I don't see Rosado being the one who said no. Maybe it was the Indian reservation or the
Oh
commission.
no, it's Ramirez's camp. Bro,
No, it
Ramirez,
was probably yeah. And then Oscar did the
when Ramirez tells Oscar, I can't move forward, it was then Oscar and them behind closed doors going, look, we're not announcing that you're fucking injured. You're going to miss weight. And then we will give the fans 24 hours to get their money back. We're not going to announce it a week before the fight. So then all the fans that were there to see you basically are returning their tickets. Hey, don't underestimate the parents.
By the way, to return tickets, you would have to
out
go
on that date night.
Here's
that
how messed up. Well, it's messed up. If you don't know, like the Indio location is fucked up. It's way the shit out there, Andrew. Like if people drove,
they would not have been upset about this game plan. This game plan assures them fans in the building. If you announce Gilbert Ramirez is injured a week before the fight, 4 days before the fight, 2 days before the fight, the ratio of returns in tickets, I think, are a lot heavier than giving them 24 hours. And the only reason why I say this is because of he comes in 10 pounds, I believe, overweight. He's nowhere even near the contract weight. That's a very unlike any fighter. But Ramirez, who's done this 40-something times, 10 pounds, and then they don't even try to lose weight overnight. Right. You had 10 pounds to lose. You could have done anything. Lose to 8 pounds.
He could have sat in an Epsom salt bath and dropped 10. He could. It's very doable.
I think there was something. I think Oscar didn't want to cancel the event because it's the ticket sales. I'm sorry. Sometimes there's a shady part, but I don't like how that one played out. It just seemed iffy to me. What is the word? Spectacle? Is that the word?
Oh, spectacle.
Is that the word?
Ethical is the word.
No. When you don't know if it's true or not. What do you always say?
Skeptical. Yeah.
I hope that's what I said. Oh, well.
All those words work. Testicle, skeptical, and ethical all work.
Yeah. Optical. No, but I'm gonna have to put on my tinfoil hat here and go into like the conspiracy theory form here. I'm thinking. Number one, he got okay. So here's the thing. I think that there's more money in a Bivol and Canelo rematch. So when Zurdo fought Bivol, he probably threw the fucking fight. He got a nice fucking payday and said, fuck this, I'm out of here. Give me a nice paycheck. Now that money he's snorting right now, basically. Hookers and blow. It's
allegedly
and blow all day,
gotta
right?
use the word allegedly.
Yeah. I mean, how the fuck do you come in 12 pounds over? Like this dude what the fuck was he doing the whole damn training camp? You know what I'm saying? So I think we're witnessing the downward spiral. It's starting. Like it's hookers and blow now with all the fucking payday that he got from that fucking Bivol throw. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I'll come in, sure. I mean, if you watch like the press conference, it looks like he barely combed his fucking hair. It's like, all right, bro, like what's going on? Something. Now exactly. So I'm thinking, homeboy partied like a motherfucker with that humongous ass paycheck that he got from the Bivol fight, and he's barely like, I'm waking up late as shit doing the Chavez Jr. waking up at noon for training camp and shit. So I'm thinking he just doesn't give a fuck. Like we're seeing the downward spiral begin. Like
I'm with the down. I'm down with the don't give a fuck.
That's what I'm thinking.
Can I add something in? Yeah. Seems like that company Top Rank knows when to cut these guys loose, son. They cut Terrence Crawford loose. We called him the best fighter in the world. They cut him loose. He hasn't done nothing since leaving the company. He appeared on a BLK pointless pay-per-view that generated no money. They release Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia ends up going nowhere, goes in a lopsided loss to Spence on pay-per-view, generates no kind of serious money, ends his career in Fresno, California against a Spaniard no one ever heard of. It's just it's really Teofimo Lopez, gets released, goes out, finds that he's not worth what he thought he was, comes back with his tail between his legs, is now with Top Rank. Don't mean that in a bad way, but that's what happened. He was humbled. He came back and asked for forgiveness. That's what happened. Smart move by him, but that's the facts. So now we look at what they did with this fight, and then I'm telling you got to give you Top Rank. Anyone who's raising their fighters out there, trainers to fighters, managers, fathers, mothers, Top Rank is number one spot. That's where you have to go. They know talent, and they know when to get rid of you when you have a excellent record. 44-0, I think he was when he was released. I was like, what the fuck? They just released Gilberto Ramirez. What the fuck? They released Lopez, Crawford, Garcia. These guys are undefeated, you guys. Released.
They're singles. Listen, they're singles.
That's fucking right. That's right.
Bob is tired of hitting singles. Bob is only taking home runs. He doesn't have a lot of time.
Hey, Lee, even at 90, it's either his eye is still good at 96, I believe the man is something outrageous, I believe Bob is, or Top Rank has passed their talent down to someone else who's hitting it right too. So hopefully it's that.
Well, I like the whole conspiracy theory that boxing fans are stupid. I mean, they played the Tank Garcia thing, and I guarantee that there were people who walked into that Tank fight going, that's not the right Garcia. And I guarantee there are people who went out to India the other night and went, what do you mean they're not fighting?
Yeah, true.
And it's way past 3 o'clock.
Gilberto never even called me. He's all doped out somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. He's just partying. I mean, 12 pounds for fuck's sake, and then even Gabe said, yeah, and Gabe said it was like, oh, we're gonna give him a couple of hours to, yeah, motherfucker, really, 12 fucking pounds? It's not gonna happen. Get out of here. And I would have expected, from Rosado's camp, for them to say yes, because I thought, well, this guy's gonna come in underprepared, overweight, probably fat as fuck, right, heavy, and I'm gonna whoop his ass. I'm gonna make a clown out of him in front of the whole fucking world, and I'm gonna put more stock behind my name and still collect 20% of his purse because he's gonna have to fork up some of it for not making weight.
Right.
I figured Rosado will be all over that shit, but that's why I'm kind of suspecting that it wasn't him that said, no, it was like the commission or fucking Oscar and his people saying like, all right,
it's
dude,
an Indian reservation.
yeah,
you can have cockfighting for God's sake.
Well, whatever. But I mean, you get my point. Like it wasn't on Rosado's side, I guess is what I'm saying. Like Oscar saw him and it's like, bro, wipe your fucking nose. You still got some on your goddamn nose. Get off the same scale. Let's go.
Allegedly.
Get off the scale, bro. Let's go. Yeah.
Well, that moved Joseph Jojo Diaz versus Mercito No Mercy Hesta. I would roll the G, correct? Hesta?
Yes.
To the main event
on
Saturday night. And guess what? Oscar took a second blow when Hesta upset Jojo Diaz with a split decision win on his B-level fighter who probably I'm sure you watched it, Miguel, because you're a psycho. So tell me, how bad did Hesta have to do? Like, I would imagine he would have had to do a lot to take out an Oscar fighter. So it probably wasn't. I haven't seen the scorecards, but was it close? Was it real scoring?
The scoring, I'm not on board with the scoring because I think the fight was a lot closer because Jojo had his moments. It was clear, at least from how I scored it, that Hesta did get the victory. So the right guy won at the end of the day. That's what I'm thinking. But like it was a lot closer than some of these fucking things. I don't think it's 90,
it's
91,
97,
99.
93, 99, 91,
9 rounds.
Yeah,
It's 9
98,
rounds.
92.
Like,
Yeah.
There was some times that Jojo had Hesta up against the ropes, and he would land these like hellacious fucking shots, and it would stop Hesta dead in his goddamn tracks. I'm like, how the fuck is this round not for him? So yeah, I mean, keep in mind these guys were fighting at junior welterweight, and these guys are probably like natural lightweights. And even Jojo, they mentioned a few times, like probably really a super featherweight, really, because I mean the guy, he doesn't look soft or anything. He just looks like fit, obviously, but not as ripped or as he used the way he used to look at 130 or even 126 back in the day. So it's obvious that the power isn't there for him at these weight classes. So he might have to reconsider that. And on top of the fact that this is actually his last fight with Golden Boy, so who knows what's going to happen with his future. But yeah, I think ultimately the right guy won and Hesta. But dude, it was a fun fight, man. These guys were throwing down. There were times where they were shoulder to shoulder. It got a little dirty even because Jojo ended up like doing this like shoulder thing, and fucking Hesta's chest or whatever, or his chin. He would like kind of push him off with his shoulder and land his fucking left, and it was sweet, man. It was fun. It was a fun fight. I kind of feel bad for for Diaz because I think his corners even told him like, dude, don't just put your hands up and block. Like, try to get out of the way of these punches, bro. Don't just receive these punches, because boxers are conditioned to hit punching bags for rounds on ends, right? So it's not like he's gonna get tired of like throwing the shots. And although granted, it did look like Hesta did get a tad bit tired, it's probably more so because they're fighting at 140 than their normal weight class. But nonetheless, it's a great victory for Hesta. I mean, I think some of his previous fights were against like Linares and someone else I can't remember, but there were losses, right? I think it's the first time he's fighting like a former champion who he gets a win over. So good for him. He's gonna get himself he put himself in a position for a nice payday down the line here. And I don't know what the hell next for Diaz. I mean, I'm thinking he has to go back to 130 or something, because he is not looking good. Clearly the power didn't go up with him in weight. But and then like I said, his last fight with De La Hoya. So where his future lies, I'm not entirely sure. But it wasn't like he has to mop the floor with Diaz, because it wasn't the way the scorecards made it seem.
Andrew, did you watch it?
Man, he hit so many points that I had to write. Should have wrote them down. You're on ball on everything, Miguel. Listen,
on ball. He's on ball.
He's on point. Whatever. Yes.
All right. Yeah, on point. I like on point. On ball.
Okay.
I picture a ball gag in his mouth. I just do.
Oh my gosh, Lee. Listen. This fight's a draw if he has one more fight on his Golden Boy contract. I'm telling you, it's a draw. I guarantee you that, Lee. It's a draw. How they had it by those points, the 91, 99, 98, 92 is outrageous. You can argue both guys won the fight. Bigger argument, it was a draw. Really seemed like the first part of the fight is Yesta is controlling it by what Miguel is saying. They nailed it early, man. Stop taking the punches even off of your gloves. You look like you're getting beat up. Hey, punch hits the glove, hits his head's bouncing around. He's not throwing back. He's just walking forward, continuing to get punched on his gloves. You're getting it. These refs are coming from all different angles. And every once in a while, I'm sorry, he threw 3 at the gloves. 1 did get through and hit JoJo. So we know why Diaz lost. And I've said this before. I'm going to continue to say it until he retires. Jojo Diaz never advanced in his career. Who he was last night is the same fighter he was in day one. He is Jaime Munguia, the first Jaime Munguia. Munguia is being very similar to Jojo Diaz's career of waiting way too fucking long, thinking that his game is gonna go up. He's gonna have some progress in his career, and it doesn't work out. He's the same fighter. He fights at the level of his opponent because of the style that he brings into the ring. So it's over for Diaz. The power wasn't there. Listen, we keep talking about age. Yesta was 35 last night. Yesta's been beat up, and Miguel pointed that out. He's lost a lot of the bigger fights that he's been in. He shined versus Diaz. It was he was having his moments. He won the fight. The scorecards are high, but I'm not arguing anything. But I know if both of these guys were under Golden Boy, there's an argument for the draw because of the last 3 rounds. These judges tend to keep these fights close during the fight. It always comes down to the last few rounds that call the fight. Well, it really looked like JoJo had brought it back in the last 3 because Yesta had just ran out of gas. I had Yesta winning, but not by those scorecards. And now that Miguel has brought to light about the contract issue, I'm like, sucks to be JoJo going into that fight.
I'm sure Oscar and his fake abs were there, Miguel. Was there a Mario sighting?
I got something on that. Who's the lady that just died that used to do the Weight Watchers commercials?
Oh, shit. I don't know.
I don't.
It's not. Is it Christy Allen or
Christy? Christy Alley.
Christy Alley. Christy Alley. Oscar De La Hoya is the new Christy Alley of the drug world. This guy, or alcohol world. This guy blows up one fight, looks slim as shit the next fight. Yes, Lee. Last night it looked like the beer belly, whatever, was back on Oscar De La Hoya.
Couldn't keep it off. Couldn't keep it off, even though he went to the plastic surgeon.
Fucking got his abs put on it last one fight. Oscar, come on, he's too dedicated to the gym to be that loose, to be that.
Well, no,
bad
it's the drink. Look, I've said this because I'm a keto guy. You can't drink and do keto. Okay. Yeah.
Obviously,
when he gets back to the alcohol, he gets bloated. I just wonder, hashtag free Mario, is he allowed to go to a fight with Oscar in India? And I don't know. After the Triller debacles, I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
I don't remember seeing Mario there. I don't remember seeing him there. Yeah, I don't think I saw him there because we saw, I think it was his brother, right, Eric or something, or who the fuck it was that was sitting next to Oscar. But yeah, Oscar had the typical. Yeah, he looked like, well, he always does, right? He looks like he just got up. He's got
5-day bender. Well, he's been on a long run all week.
Yeah, he still looks kind of a little puffed up and whatnot. So that's just
how it fucking looks. Sunday. Miguel, he sleeps on Sunday.
He's a vampire. He sleeps every 7 days.
That's a sleep day. Sunday's a sleep day. And he had a long sleeve on. He wasn't showing his cool sculpted abs the way he was before. So there was no what's his name? There was no Mario sighting.
That's a great T-shirt too. We need a hashtag free Mario.
Mario's responsible. That's probably why he doesn't want to hang out with him.
No, it's his wife. I guarantee it's Mario's wife. Whatever happened in New Orleans at that Triller fight, he has not been seen with Oscar except all four of them at dinner. Like there are wives and all four of them go to dinner.
Kids in the picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dogs. We're in the
park. Be home at 9.
Yeah.
Or his wife is like, I don't want you hanging out with him anymore. That guy drinks too much.
It's the same rules we had as kids. If it's dark outside, you come inside. That'll do it for Fight Net Radio. Again, check out all the stuff over here at Fight Net Radio and all that goodness. Click like, follow, subscribe, as Miguel, who's way too old to say it, would say. Smash the like button. I can't say it as soon to be an AARP member. That's over here. That's Andrew and that's Miguel, or no, vice versa. Miguel, Andrew. There you go. And I'm doing it without the photos there, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. Check us out online at FightNet Radio. Check out at FightFeedMegs. You can find us, Lee Honish, Andrew Lobshay, and Miguel Antonio Barragan, available online. Comment down below. Go ahead and put in your questions, comments, likes, whatever. We really do appreciate you. We do really appreciate. I'm glad I invested in Facebook, the #2 social media platform. Now that TikTok's getting removed, tough for Ryan Garcia. But take advantage. Follow us on social media. We're going to have all kinds of content going up throughout the week. Yeah. Tons of content, Miguel. We got to just shoot content. Yeah. We're just shooting content this week. Shooting. I think we should go to a bar and do trivia questions while we get progressively drunk.
Jeez. As long as we can still get out the damn questions, yes, we're not slurring, I'm pretty sure we can do it.
To each other, like back and forth, like we just pull up really random quotes. Right. I think it would be great. Like, which hand did Oscar slam?
Hey, what's
on
our
the map?
predictions? Before we go,
we'll do that on Friday. Look,
all right, Friday.
Clearly, we got to do a betting show while we're in Vegas.
Cool.
When you get home, we'll do one on Friday night. Miguel and I'll make sure. I believe I have. I'll say it again to everybody. I believe I have the right technology to pull this off for a rarity. And certainly in the 5 years since I last tried this, technology has gotten better. So we shall see. If it goes, I can use my cell phone. My cell phone's better than my laptop, which is absolutely ridiculous. There you go. It is fight week. Miguel and I will be on scene. We will certainly harass everybody you want us to harass. I don't know about the A. Charlo thing, so don't get your hopes up on that. That's really tough, man. This is going to be really tough. Maybe if A. Charlo lets me put the correct name spray painted on his forehead so we can tell them apart, as well as for other media members, it might be interesting. But there you guys go.
Flip his ID card over, his credential. Just look at it.
If his credential says A. Charlo, I'm not going to know what to do with myself.
Whatever, Lee.
There you guys go. Check us out. Please click like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and check us out online. There is video of this now, and I actually spend a lot of time actually editing these and making them look better, and they'll keep getting better, I promise. The point is to get more video out. Thanks, everybody, for listening and watching.